and welcome to this edition of the Angels and Destiny show. Why is this show called this, you may ask? So I'll tell you. The accept meaning of angel is messenger, and the accept meaning of destiny is to make firm establish. So my guests and I bring you messages to establish what you need to know in the present. And of course, I like working with angels and the calmness they bring. Now, in a moment, I will introduce you to my wonderful guest, Baylan Megino. But before that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching this show live at a later date, as it means a lot to both of us to connect with like-minded people. Now, if you've never met me before, then my name is Rae, and I'm a guide who helps you remember your divine presence so that you can heal your past, create your future, and transform your present to expand your consciousness, understand your spiritual path, and take charge of your destiny so you can fulfill your purpose. I'm the founder of Radiant Angel Energy, and through divine presence and everything else I offer, I guide you to remember why you are here, your spiritual path, and the clarity on the next steps to take to fulfill your purpose. Now, each episode of this show covers various themes for your journey, a mini guide meditation or an angel oracle card reading with the wisdom of my wonderful guests, like today's guest, Baylan Megino, reminding us not to block our dreams. Now, Baylan is the founder of Global Dream Makers, a speaker, a podcast and summit host, and creator of the life framework known as the Dream Maker Matrix. Now, as a spiritual mindset and executive coach based in the San Francisco area, Baylan is building a global movement of heart-centered leaders, intentionally creating lives of positive purpose and impact in the world. Now, for more than 30 years, she's explored how to combine the world of spirit with the world of entrepreneurship to create a world of peace. Baylan has explored several spiritual traditions and many alternative healing modalities in her quest to understand how life works. And in the process, she created the Dream Maker Matrix to show how you can take inspiration from energy to matter to the world and beyond. Involved in her business, cultural, spiritual, and humanitarian communities, Baylan has been a beacon of light and clarity in times of transition and change. Baylan reminds us that we always have a choice. Let's make intentional choices to create a better world. Now, with testimonials such as, I was able to work with Baylan during a very challenging time of transition in my life. She grounded me in spirit, facilitating dialogue, which invited expression and healing. She made and held space and modeled what compassion, honesty, wisdom, and hope can look like in those moments. And Baylan helped me see that I can dream and build from exactly where I was. I'm incredibly grateful to the gifts and skills she shared, which were both organic and organized. She is a gift who helped me see my gifts too. So without further delay, hello, Baylan, and welcome back to the Angels and Destiny show. How are you today?
Oh, thank you, Rae. I am absolutely honored and so happy to be back. I love your show, and good messages always come through when I'm going to be with you.
Excellent. That is what we like to hear. So before we get into this fascinating conversation, I want to remind you not only can you share this video, but you can also ask questions, leave comments and thoughts, as both Baylan and I want to be part of this conversation. So please don't be shy. And Debbie has said hello already. Lisa, who's been a previous guest on my show, says hello, ladies. She's just like to share this out on Facebook. Tanita says, hey, yeah, which is absolutely brilliant. So, Baylan, why don't you tell us more about your journey and how we can enjoy wind beneath our wings so we don't block our dreams?
Oh my goodness, Rae, we can't go back that far. That's like over 6 decades. A woman said to me yesterday, and when she realized my age, she said, "Oh my gosh, you look really good. I thought you were 29." And I thought, whoa, I must be doing something right. And I think what it is it's being happy in your heart, finding that place where you can be at peace and happy with your life and with everything that you're doing. You know, when we step into, okay, let me go back. I grew up being the good girl, like many of us. You know, it's what we learned to do to survive and to get approval and love. I was the good girl who became the good student, who became the good wife, and had the nice house and the car and the really interesting, well-paying job. And I was not happy. You know, on all accounts, on the outside, I looked like I would be successful and happy. However, I was at the top, I was at the summit, and I looked around And it was lacking. It was lacking. And so I stepped onto my spiritual journey. And along the way, I reconnected with what is true for me. I was able to find people in different places, different times of my life who helped me along my journey. I was able to open up to really understanding that it's a friendly world and that I have choice. And in that, I started to understand that all of that quest with all of those traditions that I've been studying and all of the healing modalities, they all started to make sense. They all come from that place of empowerment, self-empowerment, of understanding that we are all connected. We are not separate in any way. Something that I do here can affect you there, can affect people on the other side of the cosmos. There are some over there. I don't know if they're people, but there are beings over there. And I'm just really so happy that your people are here listening in, and I hope I'm able to help them with understanding that really the wind beneath your wings is being connected with the inspiration that you get from being connected to spirit, whether that is spirit in the heavens, spirit all amongst us, spirit coming to us through the earth. When we are connected, when we are that center point of where all the energy converges, what is it, Lakmoy over there? When we are in that place for ourselves, everything is possible. The potential is huge. It's huge. You can't even imagine. And so what I found was that we can fly, but we clip our own wings. When we clip our wings, it's because we buy into a belief that says, no, you can't fly. You don't have wings. I don't see wings. You don't have wings. All of these ways that in our minds, we have these gateways that keep us safe. They keep us in contentment. They keep us in places that are known. Because when we go into the unknown or even to the edge of the known, our inner compass gets a little bit nervous and says, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? This is not where we are familiar, and we're going to have to gird our loins and be ready for whatever's coming, right? But that's the beautiful thing. We are the queens of our queendom, the kings of our kingdom, the captain of our ship, whatever you want to call it. We are in charge with the guidance, the navigational guidance of our connection to spirit. Yeah. So that's why angels in destiny.
Exactly. And, it's so interesting that we forget that. Children, when you think about it, have such amazing imaginations. Anything is possible. Everything is possible. And then it gradually gets forgotten. And we do, as Lisa says, put self-imposed limitations. But I'm also guessing, obviously, environmental limitations and peer pressure and parental limitations and everything.
And generational. I know for me, really pulling the thread that goes back through the generations of abuse and oppression, whether it was by whole countries as a colonial land, as a colonized land, or it was just, these are the traditions that we learned so that we could survive or even be successful in the past, right? But that was the past. That is not now. So I always encourage people, become aware of it. This is how you change things. Become aware of the software that's running your brain, that's running your choices. Become aware of it and examine it. Is this true for me now? Will this serve me in creating what I am here to create now? And Some of it, yes. If you can whittle it down to its essence, yes, it will. There is a lot of wisdom that comes through, but we heap on a lot of, humankind related, societal structure related, government related things, right? But when you get down to the essence, then you find out, okay, what part of this or how am I going to bring this forward into my life to help me navigate toward my dream? And that's what I help people do. Yeah.
Yeah. Which
It's
is
simple. It's
yeah.
simple.
It sounds but that's the thing, it sounds simple, but we make it harder and we don't see it as simple, I think.
Yeah, well, it's simple, but it's not easy. Sometimes it can turn things upside down. However, it's kind of like turning a rock over, right? Well, what's under that rock? Well, you get to see what's been living under that rock. It gets to see the light of day. But then underneath all that, you get to see what the rock truly looks like. And you get to see what the rock was resting on, and to clear out those things that you don't want to have there anymore.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. You might even find a creepy crawly.
Or two or three.
2 or 3. Tanita says, what is the best way to become aware and have that self-awareness?
Oh, this one's simple and easy. You just stop and you breathe and you check in with yourself. Check in with yourself and you ask, what do I feel? And when you identify how you feel, then ask, what do I want? And then you have a choice of whether you're going to do that or move forward with it, and you have a chance of when, right? But the first two are the most important. First, you have to stop and see and check in. How do I feel? Where's the tension? What is upsetting me? What is, am I happy? Right? Am I happy? It's not always looking for problems. Sometimes it's looking for what's great so that we can feel gratitude, right? But to become aware of the present moment and what is there right in front of us, right? And then to be empowered. Hey, I'm the queen of my queendom. How do I choose to look at it, to deal with it, to handle it, to move forward? Because we are always moving forward. Even if it looks like we're moving backwards, we're always moving forward.
Yeah. Makes absolute sense. Backwards and forwards at the same time, up and down at the same time. This dimension, other dimensions, all at the same time.
Exactly. So becoming aware is really just becoming present to yourself in the moment. It's as simple as taking a breath. Because quite often when we're running around and doing all these things, right, we're not breathing. If we're upset about something, the first thing that happens is you're not breathing.
Yeah.
And so to allow the moment, the feeling, the whatever it is, to allow it to move through you, just breathe. And intentionally, oh, something upset me. I'm going to let it flow through. Do not hold it in your body. Do not hold it in your system. You do it long, you hold things in long enough, you start to feel pain because you're holding in all that negative energy and all that tension. And so just breathe. It's very simple, very simple. And it gives you that space, right? When you pause to breathe, it gives you the space to really be and to mentally, energetically just feel the space. How do I feel in this space? Do I not feel good? Okay, what do I need to do? Do I need to leave? Do I need to make something change or shift? Or do I need my special rock in my pocket? What is it? What is it that will bring you back to being present and listening to what's true for you?
Yeah, beautiful. And Tanita says, I live by it's God's plan. If it is meant to be, it will be. But I guess that lack of control is what has us overthinking, fear, and to set in, etc. And then she goes on to say, love, there you go, love what you just said, gives you control.
Well, you know that, yes, there is God's plan. Absolutely. There is a bigger plan for all of humanity. And we are in a world of choice. This is a world of free will. And so we get to choose what our individual daily experience of the bigger plan is. This is why it's important to have a sense of, what is your dream? What is your dream? In all areas of your life, what will make you happy? And when you know that, then you can make decisions toward that in each area of your life, right? And when you have that choice every moment, every day, and you're moving down the road toward Edinburgh, right? You're not going to end up in London, right? The big plan was you're going to end up in Edinburgh. How you get there and in what condition is really up to you. It's up to you. And I always tell people, you cannot make a wrong choice. You make your choice. You always get to where you want to go eventually. You may have had some different experiences than you initially thought, but you'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Debbie says, yeah, we're expected to follow the lives of others, to live within the box we were brought up. But we must not listen to others and do what's true to you and what makes you happy. Yes, when you're happy, you do look years younger. And she also says we must follow our gut sense that makes you happy, which is absolutely true. You know, that's why you look so young. Being happy that for that. And for those that aren't aware, from different references Baylan has made, Loch Moy is up in Scotland between Edinburgh and Inverness. And it's a place in Scotland where all the ley lines meet, which is why she was talking earlier about, everything meeting in the middle. And I am travelling up to Scotland, and I will be visiting Edinburgh on the way. And again, I should have been travelling up on Thursday, but my plans have changed. I've had to do it now on a Wednesday. So again, it's sort of like going with the flow and going, okay, well, there's a reason why I'm meant to be going up on the Wednesday. Now, when I get to spend extra time with my friend, but also, who knows what else is, who knows who I'm going to meet on the train or what conversation I'm going to have on the train.
Well, and that's the beautiful thing, Rae. I mean, everything is information for you so that you can make your informed decisions. And the listener who said, don't listen to others. I don't agree with that. What I say is listen to what they have to say. You don't have to follow it, right? Listen to what they have to say, because they're saying it from their experience, and there is some wisdom in that, right? It might save you having to go, 5 blocks further, right? Because they know, oh, this is the shortcut, go that way, right? Anyway, listen to others and take it as information. You have the choice what to do with that information, right? You don't have to do it exactly that way. You find your own way. You find your own way. There was a time when I was doing Philippine folk dance at the time, and I was asked to dance. Excuse me. It was a big celebration. It was a big wedding anniversary, big one, right? And I had difficulty because I knew that there was abuse in the relationship. And I was having difficulty with, at the time especially, just trying to figure out what to do about that, right? And my mother said, yes, of course she'll dance. I was already in my 30s, okay? My mother's accepting this thing for me.
Mothers do that. It doesn't matter how old you are.
You're going to do it. Okay. So this was the only time I really struggled with something like this. And several days passed, and I was turning it around in my mind, and what are all the pieces of this situation that I need to look at for myself? What is coming through the ancestral line? What are the things that I am trying to break cycle? What does it feel like for me, right? And what I came to had nothing to do with the couple, had nothing to do with the anniversary. It had to do with providing a moment of joy and connection for everyone else in the room because they could connect with that dance. It brought them to a different time in their lives. And so that is why I danced. So what was my intention was not necessarily what they were thinking, but that's how I got from point A to point Z on that particular journey. And everyone enjoyed it. Everyone enjoyed it. And I felt good about dancing.
Yeah, that is a brilliant way of actually, looking at that and going within. And it's like you're doing it for you, really, when you do it, because you obviously enjoyed the dancing and that. And it was like I'm doing it for me because that's something that will make me happy. As well. So it is going back to, my choice for me. What is going to be good? What is going to be good for me, and may have a knock-on effect of good, of good for other people.
It goes back to what do I feel? What do I want? Right? What experience do I want to walk away with? Right? How do I want to feel at the end of the day? And finding the bridge that will get you there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's all our choice, right? It's all our choice.
Yeah, that is so true. It is definitely all our choices in what we do, in any way that we do it. And Lisa says, choices in capital letters. And Tanita says, finding a positive in every situation.
Yes, yes. And the thing is, we have to really every day do a self inventory and be honest with ourselves. When we're asking, how do I feel? Be honest. I mean, nobody else is going to know your answer, but be honest with yourself. And when you're honest with yourself, then you can express more authentically. You can be more compassionate with others because you know what's up for you, right? You know what's happening. And being honest is not an easy thing sometimes because we've lied to ourselves. We're not aware of how we are lying to ourselves. However, when you start to check in, it becomes easier and easier to see, oh, I really didn't want to go over there. I really didn't want to go to that thing, but I went anyway. So in that moment when you made that decision to go instead, to go anyway, are you stepping away from what is true for you? Or are you stepping toward something that could be new for you? It really is your perspective, right? The world is a friendly place. We are supported at all times. We are never alone. Our prayers are always being answered. We simply need to open our eyes and listen and look and receive. Oh my goodness. We're, especially as women, we are not used to receiving. We're used to giving, 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 giving.
Yes.
But we have to fill the well. We have to fill that well so that we can give with abundance, with generosity, with compassion, and not give until we're empty.
Yeah,
No.
but I mean, it goes back to that old saying, isn't it? If you're on a plane that's going down, you put the mask on yourself first before you put it on someone, like a child or something, because if you don't, how are you going to be able to look after them if you can't breathe?
Exactly. I call it the oxygen moment.
I mean, it's kind of like really the oxygen moment. And again, it's remembering to breathe.
Yes, and what am I going to do next? Oh, I just got some information. Had an awareness. What am I going to do with that? And you don't have to take long. This can be done in like a second or two or three, right? As you become more familiar, and it becomes a process that you just always do, right? And the wonderful thing is that as you keep checking in with yourself, you build your self-trust. You build your self-image as someone who is honorable and honest and trustworthy as the leader of your life, right? We are so loving and lovable and capable of so much. We don't remind ourselves of that. So it's a good thing to check in and say, so how do I feel? Well, I'm feeling a little bit constricted today because, okay, well, that's the honesty. That's what's true. What are we going to do with that? What do I want? What do I want? Okay, how do I bridge that gap? When am I going to bridge that gap? When am I going to give this thing that I desire? When am I going to give it to myself? Or how am I going to move toward it? Right? It's a decision. It's a decision. And sometimes we have to take a little sidetrack because, there's family things that have to be done. Okay. Find what is the experience that life is giving you right now. Family is not always around. They grow up. They go away and have their own lives. We get older, they come back and take care of us, hopefully.
Yeah. But nobody tells you that when you're younger, do they? That when you get older, it's sort of like the parent-child thing switches and you suddenly become the parent. Nobody told you that one.
Right. They didn't quite get us ready for that. Yeah, and there's a lot of that happening. And so it's really in the family dynamic trying to find the self-compassion and the compassion for the other. Right? We're all doing our best. We're doing the best we can with what we know and what we have.
Yeah, so true. And now what's it? Something went through my head whilst you were talking. I can't remember now what it was. What was it? There was something you said, and I suddenly thought, oh, that'll be interesting, but it's gone. So obviously, it wasn't that interesting. I was not relevant now, shall we say? And that,
Well, and it's really understanding that we are always where we need to be. We're not in the wrong place. We are always where we need to be. And it might feel like the wrong place. But if you look at it, if you're able to just kind of step back, pause and step back for a second, say, what am I learning here? What am I learning about myself? What am I learning about the world? What am I learning? Take what you're learning, leave the rest. You don't need all the rest of it. Don't take it along with you. It's just extra baggage. Find what is the gold there in that moment for you.
Okay, beautiful. And Lisa says, self-trust, I find that interesting. And I think that is the thing, isn't it? Self-trust is something that's really hard for us to do, especially, with our feelings, our emotions, what thoughts come into our head. It's kind of like we do start questioning, we don't trust ourselves enough.
Right. I mean, as we get older, people say, I'm going to give you a quiz, and the first answer that comes into your mind is the one to go with. Quite often, that is what is true for you. It's unfettered by everything else and everyone else. It's just when we start to second guess ourselves, right? That the self-trust either needs to be reinforced or we're going to go the other way. But there's, we've grown up. We've grown up with all of these guidelines and boundaries and fences about keeping safe and how to move through the world. And it has given us a lot of wisdom and a lot of skill to a point. We can only get as far as they got. However, our journey here is to go a little bit further, or a lot further, which means you're going to go into unknown territory. What do you do with, what do you say? Like the woman who was preparing her Thanksgiving feast, and she was preparing the ham, and she took it and she put it onto the counter, and she cut off the end, and she cut off the end, and then she put it in the pan, and then she put it in the oven. And her husband said, "Why do you cut off the ends? Why do you cut off the ends?" She goes, "I don't know. That's the way I was taught. I'm going to go ask Mom. Mom, why do we cut off the ends?" And her mother looked at her and said, "Because it's the only way it would fit in the pan." It's the only way it would fit in the pan. She had a much bigger pan. It didn't have to be cut off.
But yeah, so it was then just following without actually. Yeah, we do. I think that's kind of like we do kind of like, and that's something that's beginning to come up now with stuff that's coming or that's coming back in, etc. Is like because we've been told, we continue doing it, and we don't question why that's coming in. Now, Tanita says, any advice on how to keep positive thoughts in a balanced mind without overthinking?
Just slow down.
These are so easy things.
It's like, the thing is I can do this one. I can do the overthinking. I can make something incredibly complex. You ask me to get from point A to point B, and I will build such a such a wonderful road with all kinds of things around it, and it's going to be such an experience. Just get from A to B.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, without overthinking things. It's like, and that's part of the self-trust. Well, maybe that's not it. Maybe that's it. Maybe there's a better way. Maybe there is a better way, but does it matter? Do you need to have the diamond version when, do you need a crystal cup when all you're doing is drinking a glass of water? In reality, a cup is a cup. The crystal has the value we give it. I love drinking water out of crystal glasses,
Yeah,
but I don't have to have it.
I'm
I just need the water, right? I don't care if it's in a plastic bottle. I need the water. So what will serve your purpose? What will serve your purpose? And if in your looking at all of the different ways that it can happen, how much time are you spending? And is that worth it for you? Only you can decide if you're spending your time the way you want to spend it.
Yeah.
Right? At some point, you're like, well, I know 3 ways that it can happen. I could go and figure out 8 ways, but right now I know 3 ways. And those are the top 3 ways that came to me first, which probably are the most viable. So just choose. Just choose. We can make things very complicated. Don't need to.
No, that is true.
We could spend that time and energy doing something else, being happy.
Exactly. And Tanita says, just breathe.
Exactly. Just breathe. Just breathe.
Yeah.
Release all that tension and just breathe. You're in charge.
Yeah. And again, as you said, the importance we put on something, or the value we put on something, is also so very important, which reminds me of the fact that the only reason diamonds are expensive is because De Beers wanted them to be expensive. If he'd come across sapphires, first of all, and brought up all the sapphire mines, sapphires would be the most expensive crystal in the world, not diamonds. But again, it was what value was put on at the time.
Well, I do have to say that durability and the ability to get to withstand a lot of pressure and heat, I believe, is also part of it. Because, I'm here in California, in Northern California, and we have had fires every year. Knock on wood, not so bad this year. But I know a woman who had a chest of jewels in her home, and it was interesting to see which jewels survived. Most of them vaporized in the heat, just poof, gone, gone. Diamonds were fine. Rubies were okay. They were a little bit heat damaged, but rubies were okay. But that was it. That was it. Everything else returned to the earth.
Yeah, which is a good reminder about, the fact that everything does return to the earth at some point. We return to the earth at some point. Well, we go other places and other dimensions, and but that's completely that's a subject for a completely different for another day. And that. So, how do you help people make their dreams? You've got the global dream makers. How do you help people make their dreams?
Well, the first thing that we do is we go through the Dream Maker Matrix. And what that is it's a framework so that you can look at your life and you can see how everything is interconnected, right? It's how do we take our inspiration and ripple it out into all 5 areas of our lives? And we ripple it out 6 levels. 6 levels when we really look at our connection to spirit, our mindset, our physical self and world, right? The contribution that we make in all of our relationships. We look at all of those. You define what is it that will make you happy. When your life is at a 10 plus, what does that look like in this area of your life or this sub area of your life? And when you do that, 6 times 5, 30 different ways, you have a very high degree of clarity of what will make you happy. You also have a very good understanding of when I set my energy and my intention, and then I act on it, it affects all of these things. It goes out, ripples out into the rest of the world and out through time. So when you are aware that everything that you do has that effect for the future, you are more comfortable with how you make your decisions. Because now, I'm making a decision that's going to affect 7 generations forward. This is what I want to do. I am being responsible to them as well as to me.
Very interesting. Yeah, and that is the way to actually think about it, isn't it? That whatever you create now is going to be there in future generations. So be aware of what you're creating, what you're thinking, because it will be there. Other people in the future, children, grandchildren, other people's children, grandchildren are going to be part of that.
I mean, really, it's even as simple as making that decision of, am I going to continue cutting off the end of the ham or not? Because that's going to go on to the next generation and possibly the next generation, the next generation, right?
Yeah.
It passes on. Our habits, our ways of thinking, our ways of viewing the world and what is possible for us, those all come to us from our environment and our families.
Yeah, so very, very true. It's when you actually start looking at it and breaking it down, which is what your Dream Matrix does. It's really interesting that you can actually get to see that and understand that. Not just on a micro level, but on a macro level as well.
Yes, and that is just part of being responsible and accountable to our creations, right? To make our decisions, to create whatever we're doing in our life or whatever that experience is in our life, just being responsible and accountable to the effect we have on others. Not from fear, but what is the gift I'm giving? What is the experience I'm making possible? Right? How do I want my people to thrive? So we come from that space.
Yeah, beautiful. That space of unconditional love. It's really what it comes is what it comes down to. And Lisa says, our impacts are huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's why I say don't block your dreams. The blocking the dreams is doing the unconscious thing, doing things unconsciously or without intention, just doing them automatically or out of habit. I'm asking everyone on this planet to become more aware in the moment. How do I feel? What do I want? How do I feel? What do I want? And then you can organize it, but how do I feel and what do I want? Right?
Yeah.
And when you are clear about what you want, all of the spiritual realm can now move in your favor to make that happen. And the thing is, oh, but I asked for it and it didn't happen. Perhaps what was happening was that you were asking for something that was not in alignment with what you're really here for. There's something better. There's something better out there for you.
Yeah, that's the way I always try and look at anything that are, it's like, oh, why did that happen? It's like, okay, there must be something better out there. Like I said, having to change my train. There's a reason why. There's something much more important as to why I'm going to be on a train a day early. So yeah, it is always looking as to say, okay, what is better out there for me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And to know that things are being put into position at all times. What's coming to my mind is that sometimes things happen and we don't know why. Why? Quite often, get into car accidents, right? People get in. Why am I getting into a car accident? Okay, is Spirit trying to tell you to slow down or to stop? Are you being given the opportunity to really just stop everything and check in with yourself and understand, oh, this is a body temple here. I need to take care of it. And what is the message? And it's different for each person. But what is the message for you? Take the message so you don't have to repeat the lesson.
Yeah, totally. Totally. You can only pay for so many cars. And Lisa says, yes, things are working behind the scenes for us.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
they totally are. So, as you know, I do angel oracle cards and guided meditations. And each week I like to ask my guests whether they would like me to pull an angel oracle card for them or do a mini guided meditation for themselves and those watching. So, Baylan, what would you like me to do?
Let's do the card this time.
Hey, funny enough, I got it in my hands. Okay, so as people that know me know, when I do the cards, I do them for what you need to know for your highest good in the present time. Because even though I work with past life, when we go back to past lives, it's to understand, learn, and heal from it so it doesn't affect us in the present. And when I take people into the future, it's so that they can see and understand what's going to happen in the future, how they can get there, so they can come back to the present and be fully present and not worry about it. So what does Baylan and everyone who's watching this either live or the replay need to know for their highest good at this moment in time? What does Baylan and everyone who's watching this moment in time? Okay, let's see. You're going to love this. Fellow travellers, support is all around you.
Of course.
Of course, it totally is. It goes in line with what we've been talking about as well. But it is sort of like saying, you know, we're all on this, you know, what this is saying to Baylan and to everyone who's watching this, you know, we're all fellow travelers on this journey, you know. We're all looking for that way of, you know, of living in joy, that unconditional love, having abundance and everything in our lives. And it's remembering that support is all around us, you know, not just from spirits, guides, or extra dimensionals, you know, but it's from our other fellow travelers that are around us. So look towards your community. If you want some help and guidance, what's your community doing? You know, what support can they give you and help you on your journey moving forward? So I think that's absolutely a brilliant card. And the fact it's got a rainbow on it, you know, I love, as everyone knows, I love rainbows. So you know, it's absolutely brilliant that has come out. So yeah, so everyone watching and Baylan, you know, support is around you. Just, you know, just reach out and ask and work, you know, and work with others to help you on your journey. And that. So Baylan, do you have any insights or thoughts to leave our viewers?
Well, I think one of the most powerful things, and everyone knows this, one of the most powerful things we can do as we are co-creating with God, Goddess, the universe, however you identify a higher being, a higher intelligence, right? Is gratitude and appreciation. And I don't stop with just gratitude, because I think it's really important that we go that extra step and move into that even lighter space of appreciation. We can be grateful for everything in our lives, every little thing, every aspect of what makes our life today. But what are we appreciating about it? Right? Being grateful for something is, oh, it's here. But what do we appreciate? Why is it something that we want to continue to bring in our lives forward? Right? So to be appreciative is more to is a deeper sense of going further with your thanks and making it possible for more to come to you.
Yeah, beautiful reminder. Thank you so much. So, yeah, because there's so many things, you know, that say, you know, what are you grateful for, etc. But it is the appreciation. So that's a brilliant reminder. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
And I hope everyone that you've enjoyed this conversation and found it insightful, because I know I definitely have. So if people want to connect with you, Baylan, how do you do that and what do you offer?
Well, you can go to globaldreammakers.com. There's information about the different ways that I work with people, individually, couples, teams of people. And a couple times a month, I have a virtual lunch party for entrepreneurs and leaders. And, you know, leaders are anyone who identifies himself as leading. That's all of us, okay? But it's for entrepreneurs and leaders. And I also want to offer, I'm redoing it, so it's not quite together right now, but it is coming like by the end of this week. The Queen's Library. And what that is it's a compilation of all of my talks that are available. It's one place where you can, oh, there she has a talk about. So all of my different talks that I've done, as well as those people will have first chance to get the book that I'm in process of, you know, Start Here, How to Redirect Your Life When You Don't Know Where to Begin. It's, in other words, do your Dream Maker Matrix, right?
Yeah.
Create your Dream Maker Matrix. And really just connect with me on Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm very active on both platforms, and welcome connection.
Yeah, beautiful. And I will put the links in the comments so that people can go directly to those. And Lisa says, thank you, ladies. So glad I tuned in today. Thank you so much, Lisa, for joining in with the conversation. And Tanita and Debbie, It's been absolutely amazing that you have actually joined with us. So again, thank you so much, Baylan, for sharing your wisdom with us today. And of course, for anyone watching, if you are ready to remember your divine presence and step onto your spiritual multidimensional path, but you feel lost, confused, stuck, or alone, then please feel free to reach out and connect with me so we can see where you are now and how you can move forward to take charge of your destiny so that you can spread your wings and soar. And of course, please feel free to join my weekly newsletter and receive a free Future Life Progression recording to discover your destiny by seeing into your future to get guidance, clarity that you can use in your current life, as well as possibly a couple of other free gifts. And again, thank you so much for everyone for watching. I'd like to invite you to share this video as Lisa did, as I'm sure there are more people who feel lost and want to get clear on their destiny just like you and could really benefit from Baylan's wisdom and inspiration today. And of course, if you are watching this on YouTube, then please feel free to subscribe and hit that bell button to be notified of when this show goes live, or I post new guided meditations, because every subscription, every like, every comment really does help the algorithm, and it really helps get my show out there so that the information and wisdom from my guests can actually reach more and more people. And I look forward to you all joining me same time, same place next week. So goodbye, and thank you so much again, Baylan, for coming back and being a guest on the show.
Absolutely honored. Thank you so much.